So happy to have you here for this video because I think this is going to answer a lot of questions all in one video, because I get so many questions about drugstore makeup and just a lot of individual questions here and there. What mascara do you recommend? What's the best eyeshadow? This or that. And so I thought, how about a drugstore makeup starter kit? So this is kind of like a compilation of all-star products from the drugstore. I'm going to take you through the full face routine, and you're going to actually see these products in action. Everything I talk about is on my face right now. I just felt like this is something that people who have never worn makeup before can benefit from, or maybe it's been, you know, decades since you've worn makeup last, and you know you're going to buy it from the drugstore. Maybe you don't want to spend department store prices, and I know the feeling when you walk in and you feel kind of overwhelmed, you know, by all the options, and in a drugstore there's not really anybody there to help you make the decisions. So hopefully this can be helpful to you, maybe even if you don't need the full routine, just, you know, maybe you're looking for an eye product suggestion or a lip or something like that. You know, this can kind of steer you in the right direction. And I'm using minimal brushes for this video. I'm using 2 face brushes, a powder brush and a blush brush. And for eyes, I'm just using a crease brush, a fluffy crease brush, and a pencil brush. Here we go, a primer. There's a lot of buzz about primers, and frankly I think primers can be valuable for really getting the surface of your skin evened out for your foundation. So one that I really love, that I know I talked about in my recent Rimmel video, is Rimmel Fix and Perfect Pro. This is a newer primer. I think it's definitely an improvement on the original Fix and Perfect, and it just leaves everything so smooth. When we're talking about foundation, there are several that I really like from the drugstore. I love Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour. I think that's a great long wearing foundation, and that's what I'm demonstrating in this video. It's got a pretty good shade range, and it just lasts a really long time, and I think it's workable for a lot of skin types. Another one that I think is great for a lot of skin types is Rimmel Lasting Finish, although some really oily folks have told me that they really needed to set this with some powder or else it became a little too oily. So maybe if you're super oily, there is an option for you as well. And I love the Revlon Color Stay for combo to oily skin. This is one of those foundations, if you're getting really oily, this is going to be that suit of armor for your face almost throughout the day. And if you want the most natural finish, I like using a damp sponge with that one. And if you do want just a super natural finish foundation, not too much coverage, really natural appearance, and if you've got great skin, this is just going to make your skin look even better, I think. It's Neutrogena Healthy Skin, and yeah, I'll use that on some good skin days and really look radiant after I've got that foundation on. I love this Revlon PhotoReady concealer stick. It's probably the most unique texture I've found for a stick concealer. Most of the time I would say, ugh, you know, they're too dry, but this really glides on the skin and goes on in sort of a thin layer. When you go to blend it in with your fingers and really press it into the skin, the warmth of your finger will really kind of react with this product and allow it to give you some nice coverage for the under eye area. Now, for a great powder, I have been a fan of L'Oreal True Match for years, and I actually had run out a while ago, recently repurchased, but this is one of those powders where if you wanted to skip foundation entirely, this is a powder with some coverage to it. It's really smooth. I don't feel like it's too thick. I'll just maybe blot it over my T-zone a little bit just to make sure that that area is kind of under control where the oil is concerned. Bronzer is one of those things, maybe it's something you don't deem as an important part of your own routine, and that's fine, but I love using bronzer. This one is from NYC. It's called Sunny. It's lasted me a long time, and it's matte. I would say try to find a good matte bronzer. You can just take this all over your face, and you can also use this to contour as well. For blush, a brand that's really impressed me over the past year has been the Milani baked blushes, because they remind me a whole lot of the Laura Geller baked blushes, which are really great. So they're often like a little more complex where the shades are concerned. This shade is Rose d'Oro, but they have lots of great colors, and they're usually, you know, they've got some sort of other shade almost blended throughout to give it a really interesting look. And this gives just a really nice kind of peachy golden glow to the cheek. You feared highlighters for the fact that they're shimmery. This I have on in a lot of places on my face and it goes on really well. And this is the Physicians Formula Happy Booster. And this is, I believe, the translucent, but I mean, it just gives, if I were to swatch it on my finger, see how it's just lightly pearly? There's no real flecks of sparkle. Like, I could not find glitter in this product. So I think that makes it really wearable, and you can go light dusting all over, kind of target it like I did on cheekbones and, you know, brow bones and stuff like that. For eyes, I think a primer is really important because it makes the most out of any shadow you choose, and one that I think is great is from NYX, and it's the HD Eye Primer. And I like this because not only does it give just the right texture to the lids to kind of accept those powders and make them stand out more, but it kind of has a little bit of effect on any discoloration you may have without caking them up with concealers and foundations and things like that. I just use the base on my eyelids. Then a great brand of shadow altogether, I think, are the Wet n Wild eyeshadows. I mean, you're not really going to find a lot of shadows from the drugstore that have this much punch and just a great color selection and an amazing price. So I really recommend, you know, across the board the different collections or the different colors they have, but Silent Treatment is great for like my basic everyday look, so I thought that was what I would show you today. I took the shade labeled Eyelid, which is a great kind of grayish taupe, and took that all over my lid. And then I took the peachy kind of brow bone shade and just took that all over the brow bone. Going back to that sponge tip applicator, just went into the darkest shade and sort of just darkened up the outer half of my lid. As you can see, blending is not difficult with this. You don't have to have, you know, the most expensive tool in the world to blend with. However, I do like to take a pencil brush with that darkest shade and kind of go under the eye just a little bit for kind of a smudged out lower liner. I think this is a really wearable kit, and you could go very dramatic with that darkest shade. For a great eyeliner from the drugstore that really does last a long time, it's kind of competing with, I think, some of the great high-end long-wearing liners like Urban Decay 24/7, but it's the Maybelline Master Drama liners. They don't come in a huge range of shades, but the black is a nice classic color, and I just use that along my upper lash line. This is definitely something you can use in your waterline as well, or you can smudge it down below. You've got a little time to smudge it out, like you could smudge it out with your finger or a Q-tip before it kind of sets and lasts for you. And if you are looking for a liquid liner, I didn't use one in this video, but Revlon Color Stay is a great standard liquid liner that I like to use sometimes on my upper lash line. Everybody wants a great mascara, and yet it's really hard to please everybody when it comes to mascara because I think we all have different lash types and different preferences. But one that I think is just great, and one that has really created a high standard for me as I have been testing a lot of mascaras lately, has been the Almay One Coat Nourishing Mascara Triple Effect. This is one I've liked for a really long time because, as you can see, it creates length, it creates volume. It's got a brush that is kind of like two brushes in one because one end is short bristles and one end is kind of longer bristles, and it's a nice dry formula that builds on itself nicely, and I feel like you can kind of keep going over it and really sculpt the lashes you want without the clumps. Finally, for brows, a product that I think is one of the best from the drugstore is the Maybelline Define-a-Brow pencil, and one of the reasons why I like it is because it's just so tiny and it can really help you create those hair-like strokes, or in my case, you know, I'm not trying to really reconstruct a brow, but just fill in like a couple places. I have a little scar on this side, so this kind of helps me fill that in, making it look natural. I am a huge fan of a jumbo lip pencil, and NYX probably does it best when it comes to the drugstore, and this shade that I used is called Pecan, but or Pecan, whichever you prefer, but they have a wide color selection, so you don't just have to use this one. But as you can see, it's a large pencil, and what I like about a jumbo pencil is it gives you the control of a lip liner, but the coverage kind of a lipstick. It's just very quick to use. I like that you could use that alone if you wanted to, but just for the sake of demonstration and for getting to those must-have starter kit items. I also love the Rimmel Moisture Renew lipsticks. I I think they have a good blend of nudes, colors, creams, shimmers, you know, they kind of run the gamut. This one that I use today is called Dusty Rose. I think it's kind of a pretty fall mauve type shade, so I use that. And then a really great drugstore lip gloss. It's not limited to this particular gloss, but I do love okay. Super lustrous lip glosses. The one I have is, and the one I used is called Foiled, and it's just the perfect gloss to put in the center of your lower lip to create some added fullness, and it looks great on its own for a nude lip. I find these glosses are really opaque, so you get color. Whatever color you expect to get, you know, from what you look at in the tube is what you will see on your lips, so I love that. Sums up my drugstore starter kit. I hope this was helpful to those of you who are just looking for some direction when you get into the drugstore and wondering what products to look for. Again, you guys know I love so many drugstore products. It's not just limited to these. I was just trying to keep beginners in mind, and also just some products that I think are really user-friendly, you know, easy to use, and that have good staying power and will give you not only a pretty look, but a look that can last you throughout the day. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so grateful for those of you who have told me, you know, I've passed your videos along to my friend or my mom or my sister, or, you know, anybody who wants just some more makeup advice. Because that really means a lot to me, and I love making these videos, and I will continue to do so, but I just am thrilled with the response, and just so happy that you guys appreciate the info enough to share it with your friends. So have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.